Hi, it's Beck and Sam. Welcome back to my channel. I have to say I have been having some crafting fun this week. I want this to be a Sat More and Make hosted by Jillian Norwood. I did a card challenge for myself, and if you've been watching me at all, you're noticing I like card challenges. I really like to challenge my creativity, and so on Christmas Eve I had asked my family and friends to fill out these little papers that I made and asked for you to write down a noun or a verb. And then as I've been doing my challenge, I'm asking all of you to write some suggestions in the comments, and I'll add it to my box, and I pull 2 each week, and I have to come up with a project based on those parameters. And I am really having fun, and I'm being challenged. So for this past week, I pulled my nephew Caleb wanted me to use a dog, and Jill Norwood, thank you Jill, she suggested I put in honey. So I had to come up with a card that used both those parameters. So as I was preparing for it, I'll think about it for a while and look through my things and see what I have. And I knew I had this cute little honey pot from 1995 and these adorable little bitty bees from 1995. So I knew I was going to be using these in my card. And as I thought about it, I had some dogs that I was in my stash, and I was going to use one of those. But I also had this stump, and I have never used it, and I am thinking I've had this more than 6 years. It's one of those where it's really, I knew I didn't have anything like a stump, so I've held on to it, and you can tell it's been loved before I got it because somebody has ink all over it, and I really haven't paid that much attention to it until now because I thought, oh, I'll have that honey pot sitting on top of the stump. That was my thought. Well, as I was going to my friend Laura Mester's house. She's a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I had planned to use watercolor paper, so I wanted to just show you. Not all watercolor paper is created equal, you guys, because this is nice and smooth, but it does not soak the water well. And I had stamped everything and went to her house because we will get together once a month and create things, and I was not loving it. And I wasn't enjoying the dogs that I had either. And I didn't stamp anything else out. So she has this retired stamp set called Hot Dog, and I love it. I should have bought it at the time, but I will feel guilty like, oh, I have other dogs. They're kind of the same. I don't need it. Well, I should have bought it. So she so kindly let me borrow this set, and I absolutely love how it turned out. So let me show you the first card. This is my Pick a Winner card. So like I said, I had to abandon watercolor, and I decided to go with alcohol markers. And I took 3 different shades and used the lightest first. Then I took the darkest and outlined everything, even the little bark. I outlined it all with the darkest color. And then with the medium brown, which had an orange tone, kind of the same color as this paper, I would go in and put it in different areas. And I really like how it turned out. I did not like the flowers. I felt like they were too cartoonish for what I wanted, even though it is kind of a cartoon card. I felt like they were in the way. So I decided just to cut the stump out. And as I was building this scene, I had colored 3 of the dogs shades of orange. So I had a light orange, and everything was orange and brown. and I had liked how the little honey pot turned out, so I was going to use it. And so I decided I needed a pop of color in the background. And so for my pop of color, I found this paper. This paper, it's a Happy Campers. It was a chevron. It was a We Are, and it's from 2013. And I thought, okay, I want to use that in the background. So that's what I did. I liked that it gave it, you know, that pattern kind of went with it. I just liked it because it reminded me of, I used an embossing folder on this yellow cardstock, that honeycomb, and it's a Sizzix. The one that I used is a Sizzix brand, Textured Impressions, Eileen Hall, 661447. And then I cut it out with the circle die. I used the Stampin' Up deckled edge die to cut it out. And these were some scraps of paper I had in my stash. And for these tufts of grass, I used the Elephant Parade is the name of this set. And I use elements from it often, and I love these little elephants. But there's a die that came with it that I had purchased. Let me show it to you. There were two of them, and I taped them together so I can keep them stable. And I just used that scrap of paper and cut out several of them. My little dogs, just like before I put the grass down, it was like they were floating, and I needed to have them grounded. That's why I had used this brown paper to begin with, to get a grounding. But once I put that down, it just came all together. And if you didn't have a grass die, you could take a strip of green paper and make little cuts to make fringe, and then just cut pieces of it off and curl it a little bit to give it a grass look. I have done that before, but I just, so when you don't have certain things, you just make do. Let me show you. There's a little door, you guys, and he's peeking out. And there's the honey dripping out of the little stump. I just put an enamel dot there so that it'll stay down a little bit. For my doggies, this dog, I needed them not all to be the same. So I used a darker orange for this dog and a lighter orange for this one. And then for this dog, I decided to pencil in some spots, and then I just colored them in with 2 tones of brown. And then I did a highlighting around so that he wasn't all white. It just turned out so cute. And you see those little bees. For this sentiment, I used like a ticket. And it came with the Perennial dies that are current in the catalog. They're Postage dies. I think they're Perennial Postage, maybe that's the name of them. But they're in the current catalog. And I'll include the, in my notes, I'll put the name of that in case you want to get, you know, if you have a demonstrator. And if you don't, I'll leave my friend's information below so that my friend Laura, if you don't have a demonstrator. But this little honey pot, I ended up painting it or coloring it blue. And that really made a difference because that way it pulled in the blue from the background paper. And so that really made it all come together. And for the inside, I just used a strip of that paper and 3 little bees. So that's my first project that I wanted to show you. And so for my second project, you just pull it out here, I wanted to show you how I used the same little dog stamps, And this time I have him smelling some sunflowers. Isn't that cute? So this is just a completely different scene, but he's doing the same kind of thing. So for this, this background is stamped with a, let me see here. Oh, I have everything here, and I keep covering things up, everybody. But you could do that easy with any kind of leaf stamps. But let me show you. That's the stamp I used. It's from this Grateful, it's a Close to My Heart set. And I used both of these old sets. One was called, this is the other set where the apples came from. So the stamp set is called A Bushel and a Peck for the one with the apples, and the other one was called Giving Thanks. So I just took that stamp for the leaves and I stamped it over and over, and what I would do is ink it and then stamp it, and then I would do what's called second generation, where you do not ink it again, you stamp off. And I just kept doing it over and over until I felt like it looked like a field. But before I did that, I stenciled clouds first, just in the top portion. From here up, I stenciled clouds with some, I think it's called Pool Party ink. And then I did the stamping for the row of sunflowers. And then for the grass, I used Prismacolor. So all of this is Prismacolor coloring on this card. So I used some Prismacolors and colored everything. And I like them because they are kind of waxy, and so you can really blend well with them. Look at how I did the apples. I started with some yellow. You know how an apple has other colors in it? And then in the middle I put yellow, and then you just build the colors just like you do with alcohol markers. And then for the grass, I have a sand stamp from another set. And so I stamped that around in some brown. And then I took the colored pencils and did flicks. I did it in brown, and then I did it in shades of green to get the texture of grass. And I have to say, if you've never done anything like that before, you'll go through a point where you're like, I don't know if this is working. Just keep going. And it just builds, and you get the textured look that you want of grass. It doesn't always come together fast. In the end, you like how it looks. I used an oval die, and then this is paper pieced behind it. I had just a scrap of paper, and that scallop at the bottom really does ground my image. It gave it a place to sit. And then this is just some yellow paper, and then I put it on. This is a Gina Marie die that I used. So I really wanted to show you this because you can have a set of stamps and just come up with idea after idea. Now I do want to show you another card, because on the dog kick and the honey kick, look at this cutie. Now I had previously made this one. I've already had made this because I had done a card challenge. My friend Laura has card challenges, and she's the one who showed me this. This is acetate. That's a clear plastic, and you can get it at craft stores or order it online. But it's called a floating card because you have your focal point, and it connects the two papers, and then you see your sentiment through the hole. Now this was just this actually was Christmas paper, this plaid check, but and it was a scrap that I had. But this set, now let me see if I find it here. This is a retired Stampin' Up set as well, but you know, you can, any bumblebees and bees sets, you can do this with whatever kind of set you have. This is just what I had purchased because I had fallen in love with those bees. Here's the set. I used that Thinking of You, Sweet Friend in my challenge card and on this card, but that floating look really, oops, I got something on it. That floated look really is fun. And that's an easy card to replicate because you would just take this small section out when you cut it so that you bring it down to match it up. So I wanted to share that with you, and I really like how I just, for the bees, I colored them to the sides, but not in the very middle so that it looks like there's shining on them. You know, the sun is shining on them. And this was just some of those pre-cut tissue paper kind of flowers that you can buy. And I had a punch that I've gifted to someone for those and popped it up on some dimensionals and some twine. So I hope that you are playing along with the hashtag Satmorn Makes too, because we really have a good time creating. Now I do need to do my pick a winner for next time, so please hang on. I would love for you to know this was my 7th episode, and now let's find out what I'm doing for next time. And I have seen a few of them just because I've been adding them in. I'd love for you to participate. Give me some ideas in the comments. Let's see what I'm doing for next time. All right. So our friend Jim Neal, oh my goodness, wants combustion. So, okay, Jim, you're making it hard for me. Combustion. So I need combustion with a skateboarder. My grandson, Zeke, has skateboarder written down, so I have to have a skateboarder and combustion. Oh, what fun I will have. All right. I hope you are having a great crafty day, and I will see you soon. I have some things that I want to share that I thrifted, and I want to share it with you and let you know that you can get some great thrifty finds too. All right, I'll see you soon.